There's a small town in northern Victoria called Chiltern. It's in between El Dorado and how long? Well, long enough for it to be a gold mining hotspot. It's also a hotspot for the endangered ironbark forest, mostly found in northern Victoria. This unique eucalyptus was drastically cut down during the gold rush, and it has some of the most amazing flowers that some birds heavily rely on, such as the swift parrot. It's also got another parrot called the turquoise parrot, and the very own Chiltern's mascot, the regent honeyeater. So naturally, I grabbed my mate James, aka Herd Mentality, for a 3-day camping trip right in the heart of Chiltern's ironbark forests. Well, that's not good, is it? And I really want you guys to realise that the regent honeyeaters see each other so rarely that they've forgotten how their own song sounds. And after checking out the humble town, we begin to set off on what could be one of the birding trips of all time. And there was a small rush of birders in the area who were looking for the same rare birds as us. We had no time to lose as we wanted to be the first ones to find them. And so we made our way through the Australian bush to our first destination. But first things first, us barely birders got to fill up on a good sanger before we get started. Whoa, comes in. Oh yeah. King parrot? Maybe?
No, comes in.
No.
Comes in Rosella.
Why would you leave? I just wouldn't leave.
No, never.
Oh, right up there, yeah.
What's that one?
And I think this vicious honeyeater was eyeing off my Nando's sauce because it just wouldn't leave us alone. And then we shortly realised that we were properly deep in the ironbark territory. As you can see here, all of these dark, gritty and chunky looking trees are ironbark trees of all different species. As we were moving along, we saw some common birds such as the pied currawong, white-winged chove, Australian raven and the galah. And don't worry, because I'll be keeping track of every species we find. Sadly today we didn't bring the horse, didn't bring a bicycle, we didn't bring a motorbike, we definitely didn't bring the car in here. I think we'll be alright.
Yeah, I don't think we can fit a car.
Moving onwards,
Well, they didn't
we
put a
spotted
steamboat
the
sign, so
spotted
we'd probably take the
pardalote.
steamboat.
He was just
Oh yeah,
climbing
true.
along doing...
It's the cutest little fella.
God, I'm so sorry guys, the cameraman, I need to fire him, he just keeps commenting on stupid things. Anyways, this is the striated pardalote. He was pretty cool as well. Yellow-tufted honeyeaters were absolutely everywhere, and so was the very common red wattlebird. And then we started bush bashing. What's that, you may ask? Bush bashing is the act of making one's way through wild countryside where there are no formed roads or tracks. And doing so, we saw the brown-headed honeyeater, laughing kookaburra, grey fantail, white-plumed honeyeater, and a welcome swallow.
Wallaby's so cute. He's so little.
And then James went on an awesome side quest and stumbled upon this crazy magic nature staff or something. I was going to tell him to put it back, but then the power got to him too quick and I was doomed. It was Melkabor the Wretched and... Oh wait, no, never mind. Nope, it was over. James was no longer.
Red wattle, bird.
Singing to the birds must have really worked, because then I saw the noisy firebird, and it was actually real. Oh, look at this wallaby, mate! Like, come on, me!
There's almost a tree creeper in every video I make.
Now, you can't spell barely birding without tree creepers. Now, what you saw before was a white-throated tree creeper, and these ones are the brown tree creepers. Avoiding copyrighted music like the plague, I followed the female robin around until I stumbled upon the male. This is the scarlet robin, and boy is he a pretty one. He was staying way too far away from his mate, unlike Melkabor.
I dare to poke it.
Then we spotted the weebill way up in the wee branches, running around. I don't know why I'm doing that. Anyways, there was a handful of dusky wood swallows. We're getting too carried away because we realised we're running out of daylight. We needed to absolutely book it because we weren't going to get a campsite, and it was a bloody problem because, mate, we needed to sleep. Oh, wait, never mind. We found one. And so Melkabor, James, and I started setting up camp, but not without some problems.
Look at these dogs! Everywhere.
All was well, guys. I gave the ants the tent and I slept in the car.
2 boys carrying a log. It's a big log.
2 boys, 1 log. What could we get up to? Nobody knows.
It was time for us 2 boys to rest our bodies as the next day had something so drastically bad happen to one of us. While the sun rises on the ant-infested sleeping arrangements, I'd like to take this time to congratulate Everything SD for this video's bird suggestion. If you guys are new here, I take one of the comments with a suggested bird with any accessories and turn it into a drawing. Then it gets put on the channel banner. And there's merch too if you want to be seen as a belly birder whilst you're out belly birding. On the way to the next location, we saw a bunch of these welcome swallow nests inside of a tunnel. How cool. We started the day off right, as a yellow-tufted honeyeater is in close proximity to another banging sanger lunch at Frog's Hollow. And I'm telling you guys, this dude was dead set watching on every move with the sandwich making process. Either it really likes bread from Coles, or it's never felt the pure presence of barely birding and herd mentality in one spot before. Up in the treetops was the black-chinned honeyeater, looking glamorous as always. Seriously, it looks like it's got some cool eyeliner on all the time. It's cool. Up in another tree was the golden whistler, and another common bird found absolutely everywhere that there's grubs, the grey fantail. And then we saw this slightly less common bird, the peaceful dove, which, dare I say, should just be the common pigeon everywhere. Like, look how cool they are. And then this little lorikeet nearly gave me a bloody heart attack thinking it was the swift parrot, but sadly, it was only a false alarm. But what wasn't false was the awesomeness of this olive-backed oriole. As I was watching the grey shrike thrush, a sudden burst of yellow came into my sight. There is no denying how vibrant its belly is. There is no mistaking those turquoise patches. For my audience that's a bit slower than the rest, this is the turquoise parrot, one of the 3 rarest birds on my checklist for the trip, and a life lister. All of a sudden, we were surrounded by these Windows 64 looking guys. And the whole entire canopy was just chirping, and we saw probably about 15 of them in total. And I may have possibly weed myself a little in the excitement, but hey, that's a bird watching technique that only the best of us know. And who knows, maybe they were excited too. I mean, not every day they get to meet me for the first time as well. Our next destination, Green Hill Dam, was just a tiny puddle next to Green Hill Road. But looks may deceive you, as this puddle was a hot spot for all the local birds to cool off, wash themselves, and eat plenty of food. As I was watching this oriole, I heard this weird TV static noise emerging, and that was a restless flycatcher, which was especially awesome because it was another life lister of mine. It's just such an awesome bird to watch. Like, it was just elegantly making turns mid-air and catching flying insects, which was just as much a treat for him as it was for me. And I thought I saw 2 flycatchers, but it was actually just a willy wagtail. Nonetheless, still a cool bird. As I was gazing upon this cute couple of welcome swallows drying themselves off, I realised that I wasn't alone. There were groups of birders coming from all over to this 10-metre wide puddle in the middle of nowhere, knowing exactly what birds are going to show up. It was actually really cool to see so many people appreciate.
Oh my god, I just tracked that whole flight.
Bloody hell, does the cameraman have to ruin every good moment I have with terrible commentary? Come on. Anyways, there was so many fuchsias honeyeaters here too. It was actually really sweet seeing all of the different bird species admiring and sharing the one waterhole. And I was watching this oriole for a while until I realized I was actually watching two different ones. That quickly turned into 3, and then that quickly turned into 4, which was nuts.
It's going in for a drink. 2 Orioles. Damn. That's awesome. There's 3?
And this scene just made me think of how lions and zebra would share the same waterhole if need be. The family of orioles could have easily scared off the other small honeyeaters, but to see everyone getting along was so tranquil. I suppose if there were noisy miners here, it would be a different story though. Once again, I had a heart attack from the eastern rosellas setting me off thinking that they were those swift parrots again. I saw some more dusky wood swallows testing these tree branches and their life insurance. There's a German word that I like, Waldeinsamkeit. It roughly translates to solitude in the forest. It can be described as the feeling of being alone in the woods. Watching these birds go on about their day as if I was never here made me feel such a surreal and out-of-body experience, like I was a part of the flora and fauna surrounding me. Getting another life lister on the trip, the little firebird, a familiar face shows up. While I show you this turquoise parrot creeping around the waterhole, I want to acknowledge just how delicate these birds and all birds can be. Around 90% of the population resides in New South Wales, and until the 1890s, the turquoise parrot was considered the most common species of parrot in Western Sydney and was one of only 2 species recorded before 1900. It's considered vulnerable in New South Wales and near threatened in Victoria. Its numbers dropped so drastically that in 1915 it was considered extinct. It wasn't recorded to be seen in Victoria from 1880 until 1949. Guys, that's 69 years of assuming something doesn't exist. And here I am watching this bird existing. How cool.
Hello.
Yadumba Aboriginal Cultural Site was a must stop by. Here, you can find a cave painting of a thylacine as well as some awesome rock formations.
Shit. It's a cave. It's a cave. You can't follow me. Ha 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 ha.
I yearn for this one. It was so cool seeing the layers of time ingrained into the stone's face.
Can't find him. There's James.
He's not here.
James is gone.
Oh, I lost him. James is gone.
Oh no, James is gone. I think James is this way. You reckon James is this way?
I reckon he's this way.
Can't find him. There's James.
He's not here.
James is gone.
Oh, I lost him. James is gone.
Oh no, James is gone. I think James is this way. You reckon James is this way?
I reckon he's this way.
Can't find him. There's James. James is gone.
Boulder.
I barely know her.
Oh, there he goes. I don't know. Yeah.
We saw this very handsome young male gang cockatoo just as we arrived to the car park of our next stop. What's the next stop? Well, it was this epic waterfall. It was completely... Oh wait, wrong waterfall. Oh wait, nope, this is it. This is the epic waterfall. It's called Woolshed Falls, and my god, this was the coolest waterfall I have ever seen. I really did love admiring it from a distance, but turns out you can actually climb all over this thing because it's not even that steep, except for the very end, of course.
Is that a good way, James? Are you serious? I'm not gonna do that. Yes. You suck. Wow. That's so cold.
James was being very quiet today, and that's when I realised that Melkabor the Wretched was still consuming him from the inside. As soon as I turned my back, oh, I know I'm dead. Not bad, not bad. As we climbed down the lowest and dodgiest part of the waterfall, I was working on some cool panning shots. That's when something so horrifically bad happened to James that I even struggled to look back on this footage. Be warned, viewers, if you're not okay with death, close your eyes now. There he was, James, or should I say Melkabor, because something must have been possessing him today. I was minding my own business, and James was taking some selfies at the very edge of the waterfall. Melkabor, I mean James, thought maybe I should reach over the slippery edge and touch the extremely fast moving and, dare I say again, slippery water. And that's when it happened. Well, James was dead, along with Melkabor though, so that's a win. I was carrying on my day as I looked around the waterfall, and then I realised how good it must have been for the indigenous people native to the area. A sturdy supply of fresh water, places for open fires and watching the stars, and beautiful big rock formations to leave their marks on for future generations to see. As I was alone on this camping trip now, I had to adopt some new birding skills. I call this one the Barely Birding Spy Camera for sneaky bird photos, or BBFSKFSBUP if you want to make it easier to say. Using this revolutionary technique, I spotted the yellow-faced honeyeater and the white-naped honeyeater. I burnt James's body that night, as well as Melkabor's spirit, as I prepared for my final day camping. That's right guys, I just had to make a trip back to Green Hill Dam. This time it was the morning, and I found this really cool swamp wallaby just having a drink. And so naturally I got closer and closer and closer and closer until he got pretty startled. He was a pretty chill guy though. Turns out his name was Angus, and he spent the last of his dollary dues at the pokies. He asked me if I could help him out, but sadly, I don't make money off of filming broke marsupials. Yet. And as I was having a good chat with Angus, I saw a scuttering creature in the background. I couldn't quite pin down what it was, but my best bet would be a racali. Their common names are the Australian otter or water rat. They share the same habitat and environment as the platypus and some of the same qualities, so we really should do our best to protect these guys. And they also can safely eat cane toads. How cool is that? This beautiful morning sun was shining on the birds as they got themselves prepared for the day with a nice bath and a good chat. But I had to get out the BBFSKFSBUP to see what other birds I could capture from the other side of the waterhole. And these fairy wrens were making a ruckus, jumping around like an undiagnosed ADHD child. Like, come on guys, you're the Barely Birding mascot here, you gotta behave a bit. And then the BBFSKFSBUP, I think rolls off the tongue quite nicely, captured a fuchsius honeyeater perched on a stick, looking for its next meal. And I'm not sure how these branches held the weight of these birds' giant balls, because they were not afraid of my presence at all. They'd be right over the top of me, or catching the ants crawling off my clothes that may or may not have come from the colony inside my tent. But either way, it was so cool being amongst them. It was so cool to see the same local Oriole family again. This time, the juvenile was much more active today, and it was very curious about me. But then, one of the most magical moments whilst barely birding happened to me. All of the different species of birds started simultaneously swooping the water's edge one after another. Even the restless flycatcher got in on the action. I was just waiting in anticipation for the next dive into the waterhole. Whether they were looking for a quick clean or a tasty bug, I found it absolutely mesmerizing. And so I used this opportunity of the birds diving and the perfectly placed morning sunshine on the water to take some epic shots. Sadly, that comes to an end of the camping trip with a total of 35 unique species found and a solid 68 times that we spotted species during the 3 days, and most importantly, I gained 3 life listers. It's not the largest number, but hey, we're just barely birding.